The world took a turning point for the United States when Japan surprise attacked Pearl Harbor Naval Base on December 7, 1941 in Honolulu, Hawaii. This attack would change America forever. World War II was a war going on in Europe between nations such as Germany and Italy at this time. Americans believed that this war was Europe's problems. Americans did not want to be involved in a war after their recent involvement in World War I. However, the president of the time, FDR, thought the involvement would be smart because he saw this war as a major threat in the future. On September 16, 1940, Congress ratified the Selective Training and Service Act set up by FDR. This act called for all men between the ages of 21 to 30 to register for the draft. Although that there wasn't a war happening at this moment, FDR wanted to be ready. However, these recruits would only be sent to American bases. Almost 2/3 of these recruits have never even fired a rifle. Germany, Italy, and Japan have established themselves now as Axis powers. Americans are very unhappy with how Japan is acting in their homeland as of right now. Japan is starting to bomb and take over China as part of their imperialistic ideas. Japan then declared war on China in 1937. The United States also stopped trading oil with Japan, which managed to anger them as well and set off future disputes. American officials never saw the attack from Japan coming. They never believed that Japan would go on American soil. Leaders assumed that if Japan was going to attack, they would do so on a closer colony than Hawaii, since it was almost 4,000 miles away. Japan's main plan of attack was simple: destroy and attack the Pacific Fleet. They wanted to destroy every ship and utility they could that the Americans would use and could use to attack them as well. By eliminating these items, they assumed that the Americans would not be able to fight back, and the Japanese could remain expanding in the Pacific. Around 8 o'clock a.m., Japanese planes arrived on the scene in Honolulu, Hawaii. At promptly 8:10, a 1,800-pound bomb deliberately hit the USS Arizona. The ship exploded and killed more than 1,000 men who were all trapped inside. There is a memorial there at Pearl Harbor today. Japanese torpedoes also hit the shell of the USS Oklahoma. After a long 2 hours of fighting, every ship had a great majority of damage. These ships include the USS Arizona, Oklahoma, California, West Virginia, Utah, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Tennessee. Many Americans and soldiers did all they could to fight back the day of the attack when they were under fire. A couple in particular were known and still known as heroes today. Dory Miller, a Texas native, was a soldier aboard the USS West Virginia during the time of the attack. His story is unlike any other of his time. Dory was an African American. During this time period, even though they were fighting together, everything was segregated, and African Americans were allowed to be in the military, but they were not allowed to handle the machinery or guns. During the attack, Dory was getting laundry for his fellow soldiers. When the alarm rang, he rushed to aid the captain of his ship, who was wounded significantly. He then, under his own will, took over the machine guns and started firing at the enemy, despite the fact he was not allowed to do so. He says, "I was firing for about 15 minutes, and I hit one of those Japs, and I guess that was coming toward us." For his bravery, Dory was honored with the Navy Cross and is remembered today as a hero. Overall, this attack really sparked something in Americans. It was hate for the Japs, anger, and the want to create a war. Although the attack was very alarming and caught us off guard, the Japs did fail to cripple the Pacific Fleet. Aircraft carriers were the main thing Americans were using in battle, and on December 7th, they luckily were not stationed there. On December 8th, FDR announced a speech to address Pearl Harbor as a day that will go up in infamy. He then declared war on the Japanese Empire. 3 days after this, Germany and Italy declared war on the US as well. Panic now spreads around the United States surrounding the idea of bomb threats. This was also Hitler's first time declaring war against anybody in World War II. One big result that came from this attack, if there were any, was that more people enlisted and patriotism rose in America. More people started to gain a hatred for Japan, and the idea of going to war completely changed. It went from a negative side to a positive side. America has now entered World War II.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.